Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So we're going to take the Kraton 6S EXB out. Hopefully for once we'll manage to take it out, get a video that's going to be useful without something breaking on it. So yeah, it's kind of a love-hate relationship with this one. Like the way it handles, but every single time I've took it out, some ridiculous part has failed on it, meaning it's been like game over for that day without even getting a battery pack through it. So hopefully we have a bit more luck today.
Right, so this is one of the rare occasions when we take the 6S EXB out for a bash. Loving this nice weather, I can actually get out with RCs. So, what we got on this one? We have Wtf hubs front and rear. We've got the Wtf diff cases front and rear. We've got the Wtf 29mm diff housings front, centre and rear. I think we're using 1,000,000K CST diff fluid in centre because the thinner stuff last week all leaked out everywhere. We've got the cap pack on it, the xr8pro ESC, 2250 motor, 6S batteries. We've got the voltage telemetry sensor on it, soldered, just plugged in basically directly to feed front battery, so we can monitor LiPo on the Noble Pro. And we're using the FGR4S receiver again in this, and I've got this little switch what I've made up. So if you want to bind it, you switch it back, power it on, and then it'll bind. If you want to update the receiver, you switch it forward, power it on, and it's in update mode. In center is just normal, and we've got one of the Rockstar little servos. I've done a review on that as well. So let's see if we can get a set of batteries through it without it dying as it normally does. So I've got to apologise for the wind noise. Not a lot I can do about that, but let's see if we can get some batteries through this thing without it blowing a diff, or, well, the steering is as normal with an armour. Absolutely crap. There's basically no lock to lock on them at all due to the utter garbage servo saver on them. So let's see if I can increase endpoints. See if we can get some tension on it. I think all we can do is move the end points so the servo's just constantly straining. See if it can hold some tension on the steering. Well, it's lively. I get that. Not a whole lot of steering, but it's lively. Definitely got to do something to improve this servo saver. But it's got a lot of go in it. It is a fun RC to drive, and that thicker diff fluid definitely makes a difference to it. It does fly, this thing, and it's not a very big pinion on it as well. It's controllable though. You can feed the power on in a way that you can get front wheels up and it's not going to just completely flip. Definitely a lively car. I can see why so many people lose the rear spoiler. And I think with this thicker diff fluid in, I'm going to have to turn the brake down a little bit on ESC. Because if you were panic braking, I think it'd be going end to end sort of rollovers. It's a real shame with the series servo saver though, because it does actually handle nice. You've just got to either shim that servo saver or just replace it with something that you can tighten up a bit. Just bear in mind, if you do that, you've got big heavy wheels and it's a big heavy 6S RC. So if you're going to be doing crazy jumps, probably be better off leaving the servo saver a little loose. Certainly tracks well though. Over as molars that we've got here. They don't seem to unsettle it too much. Oh no. What a shame. But yeah, definitely a fun RC. With all the trouble what we've had with it, it kind of annoys me that only little changes on would actually need to do to change it from kind of an okay RC to an actually really good one. But seems as I've got racing truggies, I thought I'd go thicker on the diff fluid on this and to make it a bit more fun rather than drivability. And as I say, they do handle quite well. It's just, it's got kind of a vague feeling on the steering. And we're running these on the Z packs. And they did seem to perform absolutely fine in it. It's got plenty of punch. I know a lot of people run the Max 6 with the 1650 kV motor, but I think it's because I prefer the feel of the race setups more than the basher setups. I've just got so much more control on them, especially with the censored motors. And this can rev out crazy, but if I bring it back close to us, you can see just how slow you can drive it with zero cogging. And then you put power down and off it goes. So I'd just prefer the extra control you get. And I think you're going to get problems with motor overheating if you try and gear it like you would a 1650. I mean, this is only quite a small pinion gear we've got on this. And you've just got to work out what you want to do with it. I mean, I like loads of bottom end because we've got this massive field, but I don't really get much enjoyment from just holding throttle like that and just watching car go by. As a rule, we usually set tracks up, so I prefer the cars set for handling and quick acceleration, getting power down control, rather than just a whacking great big pinion and really high top speed. And it still won't keep its front wheels down. That is crazy. It is a whole lot of fun to drive though. Certainly going to look into sorting the steering out on that servo saver, whether I shim it or I swap it out for one of the ones that you can tighten up and adjust. Not quite sure why Armour seem to think you shouldn't have an adjustable servo saver on a car like this, but maybe they were trying to protect the really nasty Spectrum servos that break if you look at them. And the stock one that came with the lossy LMT, we've got that here today as well. The stock one that came with that, it got used 3 times really gently, and there is so much play in the servo and it looks like it's about to snap. Definitely a fun RC for all its faults. And a lot better now it's not popping drive shafts out every 2 minutes. We might actually get a battery pack through it, which would be a first in the nigh on 2 years we've owned it. Literally every time we brought this RC out, it's either broke the diff, the drive shaft popped out, or some bizarre reason that we've had to stop running it. Certainly the control on these this motor setup, where you can just lift the front wheels and then just back off slightly but still accelerate. I think we got this geared to do about 40 odd, maybe 50 mile an hour flat out. And I don't think the stock tyres can take much more than that, because they are ballooning quite a lot. Even when you're not throwing front wheels in air like a lunatic. Does track really well on the rough ground though. Just feels that little bit too lazy on the steering due to that servo saver. Certainly going to have to do some work on that, because it's ruining a really nice driving RC. And you'll have to let me know in comments below if you'd like to see more of this hooning around with them. I really need to turn that brake down. It is a savage little RC on 6S. Be interesting to see what one of these would be like on 4S, geared properly, but with racing tyres on round a track. It is quite a heavy RC, so it probably don't think it's going to keep up with like the X-Ray or the Technos. But maybe on 6S, if we could talk a track into letting us do it, get some race tyres on it. So let's see what Kraton makes of some rough stuff. Yeah, it doesn't seem to bother it. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit close. Definitely hard to keep camera on it at that close. Yeah, there's not a lot bothers it. And I think we might actually get a battery through it, which will be fantastic. It's actually the first time I've took the Kraton out and it's not broke. So maybe you can use a Kraton 6S EXB. And I think that's it, as battery is currently at 19.64 volt. And the LVC's just kicked in. And we ain't got enough power to get on at ramp. So, basically, that is how we're running. And you can see external voltage. So we bounced back up to just over 20 volt. But the Kraton EXB, it's been flipped and nosedived and bashed about today, and we have no damage. It has survived. We've got no missing screws. We've took a few dandelions prisoner. We've got no drive shafts popped out. We've got no tyres ripped off. Let's power it down. So, how have the Z packs fared? Are these red hot? Let's have a look. Now, I'd certainly expect them to get warm pulling the current that they do in the EXB, but cables aren't hot, the packs aren't hot. There's definitely some heating motor, but it is a warm day. But it looks like it's survived, and the Little motor fin, stick that on. Yeah, the little fan still survived. Leave that running for a minute. The ESC is not warm. The servo's not hot. The batteries, there's no swelling. There's definitely some heat in them. And the motor, you can keep your hand on it, so it's not cooked itself, and it still moves. So let's wrap this one up.
Right, well, I suppose it had to happen one day, didn't it? We've managed to take out the Kraton EXB, run a full battery pack through it, nothing's fell off, broken or failed. And literally, I think the only thing I can say about this is I've got to sort that servo saver out, because at the minute that absolutely ruins the handling, and it seems to be a problem on all Armour cars, or all the 6S range at least, where either your drive shafts are falling out because Armour can't work out what length to make a drive shaft, or what length to make the A-arms, so under full compression your drive shafts pop out. And for some reason on an EXB there's non-adjustment on the servo saver, and I'm not really sure if they've done it because they know they're using the really cheap weak servos in most of the cars, but literally I mean, this is not the most powerful servo, but I believe this one puts out about, it's advertised as 46 kg, but I think it's more like 36. But it just makes the steering so vague, and it just ruins the handling of the RC. Pretty easy fix. You can either add shims to it or swap it out for one that's adjustable, but I just think it's a shame it should come with it. We've not lost any screws. I know Dave from Hardcore, his favourite mod is to put longer screws in the bottom of these, and I can definitely see why, because if they snap off you're not getting them out. So I might swap them now it's actually running, or I might just buy a full screw kit for it, because Armour screws tend to be made out of some sort of cheese. Like if you slightly look at them wrong, they sort of shear off or they snap. And I'm not sure why. They are literally the only RC that I've come across that does this. The Flysky radio worked absolutely faultless on it. I am running the 2250 motor, and I'm not sure what size pinion it is, but it is quite small on this one that I'm running, basically because I've got it set up so it can rev out quite easy and it just keeps the temps down. This little cooling fan seems to work well, and love the censored motor. The controllability of it when you're going slow is absolutely fantastic. I think the only thing that I would change about this now is the servo saver. The way it handles, the way it soaks up bumps. You can be tramming along at like 40-50 mile an hour. It's some really rough ground and it just soaks it up. So I think the actual stock suspension, if you're not sending them to the moon, then I think the stock shocks and springs and the stock sort of weight fluid it comes with, absolutely fantastic. The Wtf parts that we've upgraded on this have been absolutely brilliant. We've had no diff issues whatsoever. Since I've changed the sort of arms, I did the video where you can stop the drive shafts popping out. That's been brilliant. So yeah, it is a really nice RC, just let down by a few weird decisions that Armour made. I think most of the issues with it have been fixed on the newer production runs, other than the fact that they've now swapped the 25 tooth servo arm to a 23. So if you buy one of these and you don't want to use the overpriced garbage Spectrum stuff, you're going to have to buy a different servo arm for it. Would be interesting to see what this would do around a track compared to one of the race truggies, but I mean, we got the X-ray, so the geometry is roughly right. Maybe sits a little bit wide, but there's definitely a whole world of difference in weight. So if we ever manage to get to a track that'll allow me to send this round, it'd be interesting to stick some race wheels and tyres on it and see how it goes. But I've got a lot of cleaning to do on this because it's covered in dust, so I'll have to get that done. Let me know if you want to watch more videos of the RCs running, as well as the tutorial and guide videos that we tend to do. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and I'll catch you guys again in the next one.